Welcome into Sit Still, Look Pretty. Today's episode is all about fluidity.
That's right. When we say fluidity, I think the name and the term used sounds so fancy.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the reality of being fluid. But what is fluid first? Firstly, we are defining fluid in this episode of like being able to go with the flow, to harness things in your life that just naturally comes. You know, there's a lot of things that the universe just blesses you and you can never put a finger on as to why X thing is happening at Y month of the year. But it just happens and there's just no reason. And some people call it God's plan. Other people will say that, oh, this is just the universe putting me through this particular thing at this particular moment.
Of you who don't believe in either of those, this is just life.
Yes, correct. So whichever spectrum you lie on, fluidity is an essential thing in your life to harness, for sure.
That's right.
So now, once again, you have two different perspectives here for fluidity. It's not like we plan this and be like, okay, let's have two different perspectives. But because it's nice to know that a lot of the topics on Sit Still Look Pretty, we naturally have very different takes. So
I think it's also good that I think for the longest of time we do seem like individuals who agree on most things, but actually we are not as similar as people think.
Yeah, that's right. That's why we have our solo episodes. But you guys can see that's why Priya and Priyanka are actually vastly different people. We work in a very different style also. It's just that when we come together, I guess that's the good part of it, yeah? Because two different people. But now moving on to fluidity, I fall under the spectrum of someone who hates fluidity in my life because of the fact that I am an extreme planner in my life. Like, I go down to the nitty-gritty things in my life. I'm not kidding when I say every single thing in my life has been planned. Like, or as much as possible, I ensure that I plan. And it's a thing that I do since young. Like, as ridiculous and as dumb as it sounds, I was very sure about myself stepping into the media industry when I was in primary 5, okay? And the aspect of me joining Ngee Polytechnic Mass Comm was something that was with me since primary 6, I would say. And it has never ever shifted, and it was always a goal that I was working towards in my life. And as I'm telling you, it might sound ridiculous to people because you're just a primary 6 student. You're supposed to be preparing to go to what secondary school you want to go to. But I was the kind of person who was like, okay, like, it's not about secondary school now. I need to know, even in secondary school, what am I working towards to? So,
Priyanka.
I am that kind of a person. Like, what happens in my day? Like now we have Google Calendar. I have evolved into a digital person.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Before Google Calendar was a thing, yeah, I used to hold on to planners. So every single day, what is happening will all be jotted down in my book. Whether it's like a family event or whatsoever, it comes down right to the outfit that I want to appear in. Like, example, my birthday month means must be one separate outfit. If it's Deepavali, it's one separate outfit. Let's say if this is a particular dinner that is planned with my friends, we are surprising somebody, it cannot be a repeated outfit from my wardrobe. The planning in my life has always been constant. All these things in my life, I have always embraced them and loved them. Until today, to be very honest with you, I strongly do recommend planning ahead in your life. Of course, please do not ever become like me, whereby the most nitty-gritty things in your life is planned. But I do feel very strongly that a lot of things in our life, you will start to realize that you do have a head start on it, or you do prevent a lot of bad things happening in your life because you planned for it in advance, because you knew where you were headed to in advance. And I'm very thankful of this like quality that I do have. But now let's talk about, since the topic is not about playing, unfortunately the topic is on the contrast where we're talking about the fluidity, which means everything that I have planned or we have planned, that's out of the window, right? Now we're talking about going with the flow of whatever comes in our life. And I cannot begin to explain how much that makes me, it really makes me feel very incapable. I know it's the wrong thing to feel, but because I do plan a lot of things in my life, when I cannot plan, it really puts me on a very tough spot in my life. In the recent years, I feel, and it was very, very, very difficult for me. I cannot even explain in words how tough it was every single time when I planned for something and it just didn't go according to my plan. And lately, especially when it just kept happening, a lot of things like, okay, I want to be doing this thing in my life, and then it will fall flat, because it won't happen because certain situation will happen. That's when I feel like there's a lot of things in life we want to do, we hope to do. But example, a dismissal of a certain person in your life. Can you plan for that particular situation, how you want to feel, how, that should we do strongly feel, hopefully it doesn't happen. But but it was a very, very tough change. And I think in the last 2 years / in 2023, me harnessing opportunities, especially in my life, a lot of people have been like telling me, oh my God, it's so cool, you keep flying. And like, I feel like that's where my struggle lies, because when it comes to opportunity, if you do realize, it's never, opportunities don't come because they were planned.
Yeah. They don't come with a timestamp, you're right.
It's really because the fluidity of life, of the way that our life goes, the opportunities also come as and when they want to come. And then that's where I feel like I struggle so much, because suddenly everything that I've planned for drops and I have to become this fluid person. And that's where I also feel like aspiration changes, the goals of yours changes. And suddenly now I've become this person who wants to go and explore and see what, like, things abroad works for me. As much as like I hate having to let go of all the things that I've planned in life, I also slowly start to appreciate, if there's something about fluidity that I don't think I can ever wrap my mind around, is opportunities, actually, how they go hand in hand. And if there's something that fluidity did really teach me, is the fact that when opportunities do come, stop planning, Priyanka. Just flow. Because you don't know. Like, you see, even now as I'm seated here, of course, this is a pre-recorded episode. I am so nervous how life is going to change for the first half of 2023. I am extremely anxious because I've not planned. I don't know how am I going to cope with like so many things that are coming ahead.
But Priyanka's version of not planning is still much more planned than most of us individuals, I have to say.
Thanks for the disclaimer.
But what she means by saying that she's not planned is she's prepared herself for every outcome that may possibly occur, but it's just that she hasn't handled it yet, so it's unplanned. Am I right?
Correct.
Since it's the first time.
Here's something that I actually got to know a lot about Priya when we started to work together, is the fact that because I'm such a planner and I'll plan everything ahead, so like what Priya says, a big bulk about our job and what we do, be it or not on the production side or on the content creation side, is you can plan 8 million things, but it comes with our job that everything will go haywire from the plan at literally when you're executing it, because there's no trial run to execute and see how it goes, right?
That's true.
But I have to say, this is where I always feel me and Priya like really work so well together, because I always get the ahead planning done, so like things will flow. But I cannot handle when something goes wrong on the 11th hour. Like I said, that's in the moment. But I've always honestly, genuinely admired her because the composure that you have. I feel like you know it too. It's really something that you own. How did this freaking difficult ability come to you so naturally, by the way?
To be honest, I don't think I've ever actually labeled it as like fluidity before, but as we are sitting down and we were thinking of the discussion for this topic, I came to realize, oh yeah, maybe I am a pretty like fluid person, as you call it. But I feel like it has its good and bad, I have to say. But I think it started slowly because of my upbringing. I think there's a lot of things that your upbringing teaches you. But the bud of this journey on being so fluid started, when I was a student, and my parents have gave me a lot of liberty and freedom into doing whatever I wanted to do. Basically, whether it's going out at 6 o'clock instead of doing homework, going out to play first and then come and do my homework. There was no like house rules per se. It's as long as the agenda for the day is done, that's all that matters. How it gets done doesn't matter. And that's what I grew up on. I don't know whether my parents did it consciously or it's just that our household is pretty chaotic most of the time. So this is just what happened because of that. But I think from a young age, I was very open to understanding difference in many aspects of life, whether it's different people, different topics, different issues. I never ran away from them because I think I felt very different all my life because I wasn't from here, right? I although this place is all I've known, people weren't afraid to point out that I was indeed different, that I wasn't like them, or even whether, it's the way that I talked or who I am, my culture, my race, whatever it is, my status in Singapore, like, it's PR versus citizen, like, people made it clear that, hey, you're different. So I guess being very feeling like I'm always different made me feel more understanding towards other things that might be different in life. And I think that correlates with being able to adapt into any situation that you're thrown into. That's something that I think followed me all my life. Like, I think unconsciously, I've sort of always been put in situations where, I didn't prepare for this. Or like, even like you said, how you prepared, you knew which poly you wanted to go, what course you wanted to take. Oh my God, I didn't know any of that. I was like, I always planned for the next step. I never planned for 5 steps ahead because I found myself in situations where, things that I didn't even thought of, came into play, right? And even chancing upon Nyan Poly's mass comm was something that fell out of a tree for me. Because I knew that all my young childhood dreams was always like, radio DJ, newscaster, something to do with like TV, something to do with media. That's what I circled around. But I knew that my parents were saying this now as a full-fledged content creator seems so ironic. But pitching that idea to my parents seemed so unviable because I know the response is going to be, what career is that, Priya? So I never felt like I had to plan for it. I just thought, okay, when the day comes, I'll just figure it out as I go. But I also feel like the bad thing about this is that, okay, yes, I'm able to adapt to any situation that life throws at me, yes. But it almost feels like I'm only planning for that. Like, I'm only planning for the unexpected. So you're never going to be able to do the expected well. Like, let's say everything goes according to plan. I would just be like average at most. It's the fact that so far in my life, everything has gone completely wrong that I'm thriving. Which is, I don't know what it says about me as a person.
Priya is secretly Wednesday Addams.
I wish. But yeah, it's truly because I think because planning, like Priyanka said, is very important in life, you guys. And it's something that I lacked terribly till I met Priyanka. Because that's one thing that I think I managed to take away from her, because it was something I've always lived my life for the next day because of that. When you have that mindset, the problem is you're missing out on a lot of knowledge, because that's what I think planning provides you. When you plan, you dig, and the moment you dig, you gain a lot of knowledge. And when you gain a lot of knowledge, you're also preparing for a lot more outcomes than you are versus me, which is just, when it comes, I'll figure it out. Unconsciously, I'm closing a lot of doors for myself. I've come to realize that you need both.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You need to have both, because without it, most things in life go well based on balance. If one side is heavier than the other, you find yourself toppling That's just physics. Oh my, look at me, big educated.
Your physics teacher will be so proud.
So proud. Physics was the one thing I did well, no. In terms of science, chemistry was just absolutely horrible.
Nice to know.
But our chemistry works out really well. What I'm trying to say is you need a balance of both. But I guess my fluidity actually is the one that gives me my edge in terms of media production, is the fact that because media production is so, or at least, the sets that we've been a part of are so kind of chaotic in a sense that no matter how much you try and to start early, how much you try to plan, the circumstances was such that it boiled down to making decisions at the 11th hour or trying to make things work at the 11th hour. That I guess that was a moment that I also, because I didn't know I had this quality.
Your troubleshooting ability is always something that truly stands out. When I'm troubleshooting, right, the fun fact about me is you can see it from my face that A, I'm not having it. B, I'm about to cry. C, I'm about to scold that damn person in front of me. But the only person who really knows what the hell is happening in my head, that's Priya. Because she's standing down there and she's like, okay, this girl is not having it.
Just drags Priyanka into a storeroom. Be like, just sit down, we'll talk it out. What's the problem? What's the next step?
And the moment she drags me inside whichever room it is on a production set, right, the next moment my fireworks of my tears will happen. Or number 2, she'll hear me say all kind of words that I will not say on a normal day.
And not on sits that look pretty. Because our listeners deserve nice words only.
Now that we have spoken so much about being fluid and we have shared our insights, are you ready for the next segment?
That's right. It's time for the guest speaker segment. And today, we have a very special guest who apparently I heard it's his first podcast. So we are very, very excited to have him specifically for this topic as well. And it's none other than Mr. Rajun, who is here with us in the studio today. And if you're wondering, who is Mr. Rajun? First of all, where have you been?
And what are you doing? Are you not on TikTok?
Because if you have been on TikTok in the 1-2 years, you would have seen Rajun's dance videos, his transition videos. I mean, he's the bomb, you guys. He's been dancing, I think, from what we've heard, ever since he was a young little boy. And we are so excited to grill him today. Hello, Rajun. Welcome.
To sit still, look pretty.
Wow, that was an amazing intro. I wasn't expecting that. I was like, wow. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much for coming to our set. We are so excited and so thrilled to be talking to you on the topic of fluidity.
This month's episode discusses the topic fluidity. The topic shines light on the ability to stay fluid and remain adaptable to whatever that life brings upon you. With regards to that, when introducing the term fluidity, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
So for me, I feel that fluidity is all about approaching things in multiple ways. It's not putting yourself in a box whereby you only go about doing things just in one way, just because of what society tells you, and then you put yourself in that box, then you are not being fluid. And being fluid means you would have to be open-minded as well. Be open-minded to try out different things, to experiment with different things. I feel that especially if you are a creative person, fluidity is something that you would need, because in the creative industry, you obviously cannot just stick to whatever you want to do. You have to really go out there and explore. As being human beings, I think we shouldn't just put ourselves in a box and not explore things, because there's so much to life.
To dig a little deeper on that, can you share with us an example of how you practice fluidity in your life?
Right. So ever since when I was a kid and when I wasn't really comfortable being myself, I always thought that I have to come up with this masculine energy, always have to be masculine because I'm a male. And everything I do, whatever I dance or whatever, I have to put out masculine act, I would say. And then as I became more comfortable with myself and I'm just like, this is not really who I am. I really love being in between masculine and feminine, and there's a whole spectrum to it, right? So as I became more comfortable with myself, I just started exploring. For example, in dance, I started exploring different genres like girl style instead of just sticking to hip hop. Not saying that hip hop does not have any feminine energy towards it, because you have things like girls hip hop as well. I started to explore more in my dance. And then as I started to do my TikTok as well, I wore jewelries. And then there were a lot of people saying that, you're a guy, why are you wearing so many jewelries? But it was such an irony because in the past, kings used to wear so many jewelries and huge earrings, and nobody said anything. Like, why now do you guys have such an opinion? And then I grew a mustache as well. And then you see a guy with mustache doing girl style or shaking his ass or what. Sorry, am I supposed to...
You're allowed to. It's not censored content at all. We promote real hard and honest conversation.
Nothing wrong with shaking your ass.
But yeah, being able to see someone who has a masculine appearance but doing something that is feminine, I feel that is so nice to see, and that is how I've been practicing fluidity in my life.
I mean, I think I have to take this moment to point out, if you're not following Rajun, you should totally do it. I have so much fun stalking you on Instagram.
Just to make it clear, this is the second time, right? This is on camera that Priya is saying. This is the second time she's complimenting him on how she stalks him.
No, solely because, like he said, I think you gave the definition for fluidity as something exploring outside of the box and, experimenting. When I went to your Instagram, I could see you having fun with that, and it was so refreshing and so exciting for me to view this. And I mean, keep doing it. We totally love it.
Thank you so much.
When did your journey into dance begin? When did you decide this was going to be a form of expression for you?
I think it started off when I was a little boy. Like my parents, right, they would literally like drink in their room and then play R&B music and like, groove. And then I'll be there, be like, okay, I can't drink, I'm too young, but I'll groove with them as well. So I guess it started off from there, where my parents love listening to music and love dancing. And they are not like professional dancers or whatnot. They just literally feel the music and just groove to it. And that is where I feel that I was exposed to music and dance at a young age. And then when I went to primary school, then I found a CCA where I did hip hop. And then I took a huge break in secondary school because there was no dance CCA for me to join. And then I started again in JC doing hip hop again. Throughout when I was young till my teens in junior college, I was mostly doing hip hop. And it was something that at that point of time, I was like, okay, I'm a guy. I'm going to make sure that I will do hip hop because like, if you're a guy and you do hip hop, no one's going to say anything. And then I think I was graduating junior college and getting to army where I started to explore more genres. And one of the genres that I explored was dancehall. So dancehall is a genre that is from Jamaica. It originated from Jamaica. And then it is so powerful and it's so flowy. And then I found that I liked it better than hip hop. Not saying that I do not like hip hop because it was something that I did since young. So I would always like it still. And then afterwards, I ventured out into girl style. That was so scary for me because you're in a room filled with girls and then like you're like the only guy there. Yeah, so it became intimidating. And then when I did those girl style choreographies, I tried to make it more masculine, which didn't fit at all, which didn't fit to the song that they were dancing to. It didn't fit the choreography. It took me a long while to be like, fuck this shit, I'm so tired. Like, I'm just gonna do me. Like, I'm just gonna feel the music and dance. So that's where I started. I think it was only 2021 where I started going for more girl style classes and then just being more feminine as I can, trying to shake my ass as much as I can, trying to move my hips, my chest, touch myself, feel myself. And then that's where I felt more in tune with myself and I enjoyed dancing more. So in that way, my dance have evolved over the years.
It's one thing to brave yourself and go for it. It's another thing as to how people would respond to this change that you're making, because your content is going out on TikTok and on Instagram, right? So how would you perceive the public's reaction and how did you cope with this? Did you find it like difficult at the start or anything like that?
At the start, it was difficult because I remember the first TikTok that I posted with my friend, it was to Britney Spears' Give Me More trend. Yeah, so it was like two guys doing that trend, and then suddenly there was an influx of like hate comments and things like that. And then it made me take like a back seat from it. That's where I didn't really post as much as I would say, or I didn't really do trends that I would think people would hate on me for because it's too feminine for me, probably. But then I've came to realize that no matter how good you are at dance, no matter how pretty you are, no matter how hot you are, you're always gonna get hate comments if you're posting on social media. So it's like these haters are not paying my bills anyway. They do not impact in my life in any sort of way or influence in my life in any sort of way. So why should I give them that energy? I should instead conserve that energy and tune it more into myself and use that energy to do what I want, which is dance.
I hope you know that people like you, when you guys like step forward and make
Yeah.
that change, like I don't know how to put this right, but I feel like there's so many people who want to do this or are hesitant to do this, and this is what inspires them. So like
Yeah.
Priya said, you know, like you are nailing it, and we just
you
hope
so
that
much.
like it continues. The next question for you. In order to make your mark as a dancer, someone who is now being recognized, being seen on social media, what are some of your biggest hardships? I feel like you touched on it slightly
Right.
and then we moved on, but now to go on full-fledged, what is one like very huge step or a huge kind of like odd that you faced in order to break away and come out in doing what you do? Hopefully this story will inspire a lot of
Right.
other people.
Hopefully. I
Yeah.
think one of the biggest hardship I faced was the fact that I was insecure of myself, of my own dancing. And the fact that every time when I go for dance classes or when I go for dance classes where people were like, oh, you are that guy that dances on TikTok, I would have the pressure to need to perform and not to do any mistakes in my choreographies and really really perform. And that puts a lot of pressure and gives me a lot of anxiety to the point where I just don't enjoy dancing already because I am focusing on trying to perform than rather dance the choreography. What I've came to realize is that I'm only human anyway. There are days where I can perform, there are days where I cannot perform, there are days where I'm just gonna feel like shit. And it's fine because there are really some days where I just cannot dance. Like I go for a class and then I do the choreography, but I'm just not feeling it. And it's fine to feel that way because like we are humans anyway and we can't be perfect all the time. If I really cannot perform, then I really cannot perform. Sorry, you can go to my TikTok and watch it.
That's right. That's what it's there for.
Yeah. And about my insecurity is that sometimes I am very critical about the way I dance, and sometimes I'm not happy about how I execute a certain choreography. I hesitate to post those content because I'm like, I don't think I did my best. But then my friends would say, you know, like just post it anyways, like free content, just post it, like whatever. No one is gonna notice what you notice, because to me I notice so many things that is wrong with my dance, but to another person they wouldn't be able to notice that. So that is also another thing that I've tried to internalize as well. As long as it looks like I'm having fun dancing, that's all it matters.
But having done this for about 1 to 2 years now with you being on TikTok and everything, or even being a dancer in general, is there an unforgettable or proudest moment that you hold with you close to your heart?
I think it would be getting recognition from TikTok because before I did TikTok, I was just dancing and, you know, just dancing because I like dancing. And I didn't really post much of my dancing. So ever since TikTok came, and then I was like, let me just try doing these TikTok trends. Let me just try posting my dance. And then people liked watching me. And then I was like so confused. I was like, you guys like watching my dance? I'm like, okay, slay. And then I was like, it was so heartwarming to know that. And then some people like look up to me or like see me as an inspiration. Then I'm like, it's so nice because I never thought that I could have such an impact. And especially after doing dances, I started doing transition videos, and those Indian transition videos went to an international audience, and it was putting out my own culture over there and representing my own Tamil culture over there. People are asking me to continue doing that because they simply just like watching it. And I've never once thought that I would come to where I am today because of those videos, but I was literally just doing me. I was just literally posting whatever I wanted to post, and people like that, and I'm so happy for that.
Just a curious question. How long does it actually take for you to produce a TikTok video?
For certain TikTok dances that are quite simple to do and stuff like that, it would take like 5 to 10 minutes. I just do it once and I'm done.
Right.
But for certain TikTok videos that are longer, I would say I would like literally retake like 6 or 7 times. I literally like sweat so much trying to do that. And then in the end, I take the first take video where like what's the point of me doing so many other things then? Yeah, that will go about like, I guess, 30 minutes to an hour.
Right.
And then you have the transition videos that I do. So sometimes the transition videos take 5 minutes as well. if I'm doing a transition video and editing it at the same time, then it would take like an hour or whatnot. So it really depends
Yeah,
on
that's the thing,
the
right? It
content,
feels
yeah.
like it's such a short piece of content, but the amount of work that goes behind it.
Especially for transition videos, you have your before, right? And then you have to get ready,
Yeah.
film it for 5 seconds, and then you just remove everything. And you
Yeah.
just
Oh, that's such heart pain. But
Yeah.
I've also seen some of like the photo shoots that you post,
Right.
like conceptualized photo shoots, and those are so fun, by the way.
Thank you.
But can I realize, do you contribute in terms of the vision, the conceptualizing is all something that you explore, that you like being a part of?
I remember the first ever shoot that I did when I grew my mustache. That was something that outfit and the jewelries and everything, it was an inspiration from Rajasthan. So it was something that I wanted to do because I love how people in Rajasthan look with all their jewelries and stuff like that. And then I worked with Manga as well, which is an Indian clothing brand. Sometimes I would give them like my idea if I think if it's good, and then it's really up to them if they want to incorporate it or not. I realized that I have a lot of things that I really want to do, like a lot of shoots, a lot of concepts that I really want to do, but I haven't found the time to do it because of my university that has just started since last August. The one reason why I took a gap year after my army was I felt that I didn't really know what I wanted to do in life. And then I really wanted to just take a break and just be myself and then just do the things that I like. And in that gap year as well, my mom wasn't feeling well, so I took that time off to sort of take care of her as well at home. That is when I started my TikTok journey. I had more time to myself. That is when I started going for more dance classes as well. And I really missed that time because it was really just me doing whatever that makes me happy.
There was a time when dancing was stigmatized as a career. However, with time, this has certainly evolved. We are curious to find out from you if you ever did dream of dance being your iron rice bowl, or do you fancy it for it to maintain as your side hustle?
I feel that in Singapore especially, it is still difficult to make dance as a career. And if you're able to make dance as a career, it wouldn't pay you as much as you having a full-time job. So that is something that is difficult to do in Singapore, I feel, even today. And for me, if I'm able to make it my iron rice bowl, I would gladly make it. But I have to think about the work and effort that goes through it, because if you're doing dance as a full-time career, you have to make sure that you are going to dance classes as well, that you have to make sure your body is always in good condition so that you're able to deliver, because it's a service that you provide to the public. There are a lot of things that you have to consider if you want to make dance as a career. And for now, I feel that I'm not at that stage yet because I feel that I have so much more to learn in dance. I would rather it being a side hustle as of now. And talking about side hustle, I'm actually going to start up my own Zumba classes for Collywood music.
Congratulations.
It's something that because people have been asking me like, why not you do something in dance? And I've
Yeah.
always been like so scared to do it. And now I'm just like, you know what? It's a new year. I'm just gonna dive in. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. If it works out, it will be amazing.
Where can people find you, those people who are interested to join?
I just created a new Instagram account called Starchy Dancers. So that would where my branding for that classes would be. So if they wanna find me and want to join my class, they can always go to that Instagram page or even follow me on Instagram. I will be posting about it anyway.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank
That's so
you.
exciting.
Exciting 2023.
Yes.
People who are wanting to enter this arena of dance, or people who are hesitating to post, TikTok videos, and they're actually content creators or they're creatives out there, is there a piece of advice that you want to leave here on Sit Still Look Pretty for them?
I would say that life is short. Just post those videos if you want to, because in the end you should be posting those videos for yourself and not for anyone else, and that you should be doing things for yourself, and that if they really want to get recognized on TikTok or whatnot or be a better dancer, that they have to realize that they have to put in the work and effort and have to manage their expectations. You can't expect to dance once a month and be the best dancer in the world. You really have to put in the work and effort. So that is where you have to manage your expectations and not get disappointed in yourself if you don't perform. And I would say to take things slow, like try not to focus on too many things at once. Maybe you can start posting once a week and then slowly add that up. Or if you want to go for dance classes, maybe go for dance classes once a week and then slowly increase that. as much as I want to say don't be afraid, you will be afraid, you will be scared at first, but just do it. Just take the dive. Just dive right in.
All right, Rajan. Thank you so much. You can
Thank
breathe.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, I've not been breathing for a while.
Thank you so much for joining us on Sit Still
Thank
Look
you for
Pretty.
having
I
me.
think we've had a very fun episode.
Yeah.
I really feel like I thrived and enjoyed like this episode
Same.
way too much.
Yeah, there was a lot of
Same.
laughs for sure. And good luck on your Zumba classes. Good
Thank you
luck
so
for
much.
uni.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome to hell.
All
But
right.
besides that, like all the best
Yes,
to you,
thank you.
definitely. We truly hope to see your content like continue on
Thank you
TikTok.
so much.
But the quote of the month is by Ellen, and it goes, "There is a contradiction in wanting to be perfectly secure in a universe whose very nature is momentariness and fluidity."
Oh, wow. Again, very factual, very literal. Live your day like it's the last. Prepare your day like it's forever. And you shall be just fine.
Yeah, and I feel like in this quote, when they talk about the momentariness and the fluidity, right? I truly felt like, isn't that the beauty of life, honestly?
Yeah.
Because the more, if imagine if everything that you planned went as per normal, where are your highs? Where are your lows? Where are the parts that you will have some sort of like inner magic going on within you? Technically, it's all these moments of like having unexpected things like what you said come up your way that makes life very exciting. So even when the shittiest time happens, just remember this thing whereby you are thriving, you are trying, and you are living.
New Instagram bio.
You are living.
We will catch you with a new guest and a new cup of tea in the next episode. Until then, it has been Priya
And Priyanka.
on Sit Still, Look Pretty, 'cause girl, you're more than a quick gaze.